Okay, now once you've completed the setup, you've added your accounts, you clicked on the Sync Webinars button, and now you've gone to GoToWebinars and you start seeing your upcoming or past webinars in Salesforce. There are other ways to interface or for your users to interface and interact with this integration data. So in this case here, I'm on a lead record. And from that lead record, I have on the related list, I'll go back to the detail. So from the detail page, if I click on the related list, then I will start to see the webinar history. I have an object here called webinar history. And with that, I will see a list of all the webinars that this particular lead has registered for and or attended. So when you add this webinar history to the lead layout, you're going to lay out the attended field, the webinar history, my webinar responses, start and end dates, and there's probably maybe one other field here that will be useful to you. But again, if this one of the checkboxes is marked here, that means that this particular lead has attended that webinar. I will also see on the campaign history if you have an enterprise or unlimited license and you are creating campaigns, then as we create and update webinar history, we're also adding campaign members to the related campaigns. And so I'm not sure why this is still thinking, but there should be a list of campaigns here. And let me see, I'll click on view all. So there's the campaigns, and I can see they're all the status of registered. There's actually one attended. Okay. All right. So again, I see, okay, there we go. Now there's the list. So webinar history, campaign history, and there's functionality to invite or register this lead to a webinar. So if you come over here to your buttons, then you want to look for the register this lead to a webinar or invite this lead to a webinar. And as I perform either of those functions, then I'm going to have some activity history. So I should be able to see, in this case here, I've only registered this particular lead for a webinar. And why don't we go ahead and invite one just so we can see what that functionality looks like. So if I come back over here to this button and I click on invite this lead to a webinar, then the first thing I'm going to see is a list of the upcoming webinars. So when I select that webinar and I click send invitation, and that's all you're doing, and you're creating activity history. And so we should see, depending on how you have this sorted. So there's invited to webinar holiday prep. It's that time again. Okay. So also, if I go to the lead list view, I can invite multiple leads to a webinar. And actually, if I jump over to a contact record, I'll see the exact same functionality that I just showed you, invite to a webinar or register to a webinar. I'll see that exact same functionality and the exact same layout on the contact record. So there's my activity history, there's my webinar history, there's the campaign.